back with day 23, and this is the only photo I'm going to be scrapbooking today, and it is a 4x4 photo, and I'm also going to be using one of the pocket pages that are this style where it has the strip down the side and the two 4x4 squares on this, and I'm actually going to be putting something kind of on the main part of this page protector, so I'm going to bring this back in here in a couple seconds. But first I'm going to work on just kind of putting the page itself together. So like I said, I have that strip, and this is not one of my favorite page protectors, but in this case I think I found something that I really like the way I'm going to lay it out. So I think it's going to work because I'm going to be putting an element over the top of the page protector right about this area. So this strip's going to go here, and then in this bottom square I kind of wanted to do just a see-through element, and I'm going to be using this dot gold transparency that I got from Michaels. This one is a 12 by 12 sheet that you can get in the paper section, and I've used it throughout the album. I tried to use one of the other papers that I had, but it just didn't look right, and I just, for consistency's sake, I'm gonna stick with this probably for the rest of the album, unless one of the other ones work. I can't really see myself using anything but the ones that have the polka dot. So that's what we're gonna go with, and this is gonna be a see-through element, and in order for this to work, I'm gonna be putting these little thickers on top of the page or the pan transparency, but I don't want these numbers to show through the back side. So I've actually taken the adhesive off just so I can move them around and manipulate them a bit. And what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to punch a piece of white paper with a hole punch, and I'm going to be using this if I can grab it off, this 2.5 inch hole punch here. And this is just one of the flat hole punches. I believe I got it from Stampin' Up. I'm going to end up using this and punching a white piece of cardstock, but first what I'm going to do is just a little technique to it, so it's not just a plain white piece of paper. I am going to actually stamp on it with some Versamark and do some embossing on it, and I'm thinking I'm going to be using a stamp that has "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and I am going to pull it out. I just need to find it. Give me a second and I'll be right back. While I was looking for the stamp, I also found this washi tape that I forgot that I picked up from Michaels. And so I'm going to figure out, I kind of like the creams in here. I think that's going to go well with this and just the colors in general. And the other side has reds and blacks in it, and I think any of these will probably work fine. So I might do some embossing with a stamp and then also put some washi tape down and then punch a circle for each and then see which one I like better. So I think that's what I'm going to try to do. So I'm just going to ink this stamp press up with some, like I said, Versamark, and then I'm going to use some gold, if I can find it. Where's my gold? There it is. My gold Stampin' Stuff embossing powder, and I really like this. It is a detail gold, and it really goes on nicely, and that's what I've been using all of my December daily. So I'm going to stamp this image down and then emboss it, and I'll be right back. So I am back, and I have embossed this Christmas story here with some gold embossing powder, and then I used some washi tape to put down this pattern here, and I'm going to punch out a hole on each of these and then just find out which one I think looks better in the end on the page. So I'm just going to kind of figure out a good place to punch this, and I think that works right there. And then I'm going to punch another one out of this one, and the washi tape isn't exactly lined up, but that's okay. It's the Michaels brand Recollections, I believe, and it's kind of like a more of a plasticky tape than some of the more tissue paper kind of washi tape. So, you know, it's not, it doesn't lay down quite as seamless as sometimes when you have the thinner paper. So I'm going to bring this acetate sheet over here and just try to figure out what I like better on it. So, like I said, this is the gold one. And then the numbers. And you know what, I might bring over my papers too, just to put everything together. And while I'm actually auditioning this, just so I can kind of get a good idea of what I'm going to like, I'm going to put this other piece that I had already kind of cut out. So I have these frames left over from last year, and I want to use them up, and I have a few left, and I'm going to be using this one today. And then I have this December calendar that came in the 6x6 Snow and Cocoa paper pad, and I just trimmed it out, and it fits perfectly behind this. Now this is definitely more of a pink than this. This is more pink and this is more red, obviously. So what I decided to do, just to mute out the background a bit, is to put this vellum behind it, and then that way it does still have the pink color, but it looks more red, or it doesn't look as obviously pink under here. And I just wanted this in the background to be subtle anyway, so I like how that looks behind the vellum. And what I'm going to end up doing is placing this right about here on the outside of the page protector. So that's going to be about where I'm going to put it. So I need to decide if I want this one, and I think already I'm knowing or thinking that I'm going to probably want this one better. I'll probably put those at an angle. And then what I'm going to end up doing on the back side of this is punching out a circle too and trying to decide how I want to handle it. And maybe I'll use this one on the other side. But you know what? I think I'm going to like this one better. It ties the red in, and then also on the other page it ties the red in. I do need to use some black though, because the other page has some black, and I think it's going to look a little funny if I just keep this kind of at the browns, reds, and green. So I need to figure out how I'm going to get an accent of black in there. But until then, I think this is kind of what I'm going to go with. So I'll end up gluing these guys down. And I'm going to use a liquid adhesive. And because that washi tape, like I said, it kind of has a plasticky coating, I'm going to attempt to use, yes, that came off. I'm going to use my glossy accents because I think that's going to be the best adhesive for this one. So I'm just going to make sure I like the placement of the numbers. And I'm just going to glue this down quickly. I love glossy accents because it's very, very strong, but if any seeps out, it definitely has that glossy look to it, and it doesn't become matte in the background like the Scotch Quick Dry. So I'm kind of careful when I add this on, a lot more careful than I would be with the Scotch, but it is a perfect adhesive, and I think it's going to work perfect with this like kind of shiny material. Yes, I think I like how that looks. Now I just need to glue this to the acetate piece, so I'm just going to move this out of the way. And I'm just going to use my ATG gun. That should be a strong enough adhesive for this. And then glue that down. And I'm just going to center that up on this card as much as possible. So I think that's good enough. All right, so now I am going to... Stitching would look kind of cool around this if it's black stitching, but I don't know if I'm going to like how the stitching looks in the back. So I'm probably not going to do that. Let's see. I kind of like that. I'm wondering, I'm going to look through my stash, see if I might have some black enamel dots or something to sprinkle on this page. So I'm trying to think of something else that might work. I'll be right back. I was looking through my stash and I found my Tim Holtz little word strips, and I actually think that's going to be perfect. So I am going to actually put these down. I may still use this little guy here, but I'm going to put these down and see if I need anything additional. Now, these are going to show on the other side, but I will figure out something to do in its place. So we'll just kind of see. We'll play it by ear and worry about that later, because I'm just going to go with this because I like it. So I wonder, maybe I'll put this guy like right there. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get some of my glossy accents out again. And again, this is going to show on the other side, but I'll figure something out to do. So I'm not too overly worried about it. I like how it looks on this side, and I'm just going to deal with it. Yeah, I think I'm going to do some journaling here, just a small bit. And then I might call this one good. So I'll be back once I have my journaling done. All right, I have done my journaling, and I decided to cut it all into little strips. That seemed to work the best. I was going to put it in one just single piece, but I ended up thinking this looks a little bit better. So I am going to go ahead and glue all of these guys down, and I'll be back in just a minute. All right, guys, I am back, and I finished this up. I added all the strips down. They're a little crooked on the bottom, but I'm just going to pretend that they're straight. And I think what I'm going to end up doing is something like this. And I've got one other phrase sticker from the Tim Holtz Ideology Small Talk. And I am going to add this. I just cut it in half, and I'm going to add this kind of like this. So I'm going to put this here. And then, like I said earlier, this is going to go on the outside of the page protector. And then this is going to go on the inside. And I'm just going to put it as though it was sitting there now. And I think that's going to work. So I'm going to put this in the page protector right now so you guys can kind of see how this is going to end up looking. So I'm just going to slip this photo in. And you know what? Actually, I probably won't glue this down yet, because if I do, I won't be able to work on this back page. So I'm just going to show you what it's going to look like. Actually, you know what? I will just keep it this way because will show you better this way without the glare of the page protector. But basically, it's all going to go together like this. I have glued everything down, and I decided to X off the numbers. Today was the 24th, so I was Xing that day off, and I thought that would be a good way to kind of add some other black to the top as well. And then I'm going to put that down here, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to add that, or I may keep it off. I'll probably decide later on what I'm going to do. This may just add too much bulk, and I have a pretty chunky album already, so I may not want to add any more bulk to the album. So that's about how it's going to look, and that's all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you liked the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you have not already, please subscribe. Thanks. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.